There comes a season in the life of a chosen one when poverty is no longer a lesson but a limit that God is ready to remove. Too many people think struggle is their destiny, but for those who are marked, an anointed shift happens. The money doors God opens are not random. They are divine rewards for endurance, obedience, and unseen battles. If you are listening to this message right now, it is not by accident. Heaven is positioning you for overflow, provision, and wealth with purpose. This is the hour where fear must die and faith must rise. God does not bless His chosen ones just to make them rich. He blesses them to make them powerful stewards. There are invisible doors in the spiritual realm that only open when heaven recognizes you are ready. These doors don't respond to begging, they respond to preparation. This message is your sign that wealth is locating you, resources are aligning with your purpose, and financial chains are breaking. But the worst mistake you can make is to hesitate when these doors open. Delay is disobedience when God says, enter. 1. The door of divine ideas. This is the door where God places billion-dollar ideas inside your mind. Suddenly, problems start looking like opportunities. You begin to see business ideas everywhere. Your mind becomes a factory for solutions, and people begin to pay for your thinking. This is not ordinary intelligence. It is prophetic strategy downloaded from heaven. When this door opens, your thinking shifts from survival to strategy. You don't just think about how to make money, you think about how to create value at a level that changes lives and systems. Your thoughts stop being random and start becoming focused, purposeful, and powerful. You wake up with ideas, fall asleep with ideas, and even your quiet moments become brainstorming sessions with God. Concepts that once seemed too big or unrealistic begin to feel natural and reachable. You stop thinking like the limited environment you came from and start thinking like the future God has designed for you. At this stage, you notice that conversations in your mind become solutions instead of worries. You start seeing gaps in the market, missing services in communities, and broken systems as opportunities for wealth creation. People around you may not understand how you think or why you speak differently, but that is because you are no longer operating from human logic alone. You are carrying divine downloads that cannot be explained by education or experience. This door turns your mind into sacred ground where wealth ideas are conceived. 2. The door of strategic connections. God starts removing poor networks and replacing them with wealthy-minded people. You find yourself sitting in rooms you never imagined. Conversations shift from gossip to investments. Opportunities come through people, and God makes sure the right people recognize your value when the time comes. When this door opens, you begin to notice changes in your environment that feel unfamiliar but purposeful. Old conversations no longer satisfy you because your spirit has matured beyond small thinking. The people you meet start speaking about vision, ownership, growth, partnerships, and expansion. You realize that your circle of influence is changing because your future requires new levels of thinking. God starts aligning you with mentors, partners, clients, and collaborators who can speak into your destiny. These are not random encounters, they are orchestrated alignments. You begin to attract people who think in millions instead of complaints, who plan years instead of days, and who invest instead of wasting. You also become more selective with who has access to your energy, your time, and your dreams. This door brings divine networking, where introductions happen at the right time and conversations lead to opportunities. You will notice that certain people begin to believe in you even before you fully believe in yourself. You may feel uncomfortable at first because you are stepping into rooms you once prayed to enter, but this discomfort is evidence of growth. Through this door, God builds bridges through relationships that money alone could never create. 3. The door of favor in high places. You begin receiving approvals you didn't qualify for on paper. Contracts are allowed. Applications are accepted. Doors that were once locked begin opening quietly. This is not luck. It is supernatural favor designed to move you ahead of time. This door shifts how systems respond to you. Instead of resistance, you encounter cooperation. Instead of rejection, you find acceptance. People start trusting you without long explanations. Decision-makers see something on you that they cannot fully describe, but they feel compelled to help you. This favor is not based on merit alone, it is based on divine alignment. You start noticing strange ease in processes that used to be difficult and stressful. Files that used to delay suddenly move faster. Conversations that once felt tense suddenly become smooth and productive. God begins to place your name in rooms where you are not present physically, but your destiny speaks for you. You are discussed, remembered, and recommended in places you never had access to before. This door gives you accelerated progress, allowing you to skip unnecessary struggle and delays. You still work hard, but the burden feels lighter because grace is carrying you. Even when policies say no, favor rewrites outcomes in your direction. This is the hand of God shaping your path and positioning you for influence, access, and financial growth that cannot be explained by human logic. 4. The door of uncommon wisdom. Your decisions become sharp. You stop making foolish financial mistakes. You know when to save, when to spend, when to invest, when to walk away. This door protects your wealth before it even arrives, preparing you to handle large levels of responsibility. When this door opens, your discernment increases dramatically. You no longer move emotionally with money, but strategically and calmly. You start understanding that wealth is not just about earning, but about managing, protecting, and multiplying. You begin to recognize traps disguised as opportunities. You stop chasing fast money and start building lasting value. Your patience increases, and you gain the discipline to delay gratification because you now understand long-term rewards. God gives you insight that makes you see beyond the surface of deals, partnerships, and investments. You are able to sense when something is not aligned, even if it looks attractive. This wisdom shields you from losses that could have destroyed your future. You begin thinking like a steward, not just an earner. Every financial move becomes calculated, intentional, and wise. Your conversations shift towards strategy, planning, and structure. This door trains your mind to hold wealth responsibly before wealth actually enters your hands. It builds character that can sustain abundance without arrogance or waste. 5. The door of hidden opportunities. God reveals opportunities that were always there but hidden from the crowd. You see value where others see risk. You enter markets before they become popular. You profit quietly before the world even realizes what is happening. This door gives you spiritual eyesight that goes beyond trends and hype. You begin to recognize potential in places that others avoid. Where some people see instability, you see untapped resources. Where others see danger, you see positioning. You become comfortable moving alone because your confidence now comes from divine direction rather than public approval. God begins to whisper strategies that do not make sense to the masses but align perfectly with your purpose. You notice that you are always one step ahead, not by luck, but by revelation. You enter opportunities in silence and build quietly while others are still debating. This door teaches you the power of timing. You don't rush, you wait, you watch, and you move with precision. Your victories are not loud at first, but they are solid. You begin setting foundations while others chase shortcuts. Hidden opportunities begin to surround you because your mind is now trained to look deeper. This door gives you the ability to operate in spaces that are invisible to average minds, allowing you to grow before the crowd arrives. 6. the door of fearless execution. This door removes hesitation. You stop overthinking and start moving. You stop doubting yourself and start trusting the vision God placed inside you. Wealth does not respond to dreams, it responds to action. This door gives you the courage to step in bold faith. When this door opens, your mindset shifts from waiting for perfection to embracing progress. You realize that waiting too long is more dangerous than starting imperfectly. Fear loses its grip on your thinking, and faith begins to dominate your decisions. You no longer ask, "What if it fails?" but instead ask, "What if it works?" Your steps become intentional, your moves become deliberate, and your energy becomes unstoppable. You develop a sense of urgency that is peaceful, not rushed. You understand that divine favor still requires human effort, and you are now willing to show up consistently. You stop hiding your gifts and start using them publicly. Procrastination is replaced with discipline. Doubt is replaced with confidence. You begin to understand that courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision to move in spite of it. God gives you strength to take risks that align with your calling, and each bold step brings momentum. Your spirit becomes unshakable because you know delay is no longer an option. This door turns you from a dreamer into a doer. 7. The door of wealth transfer. This is when resources move from confused hands to focused hands. God reroutes contracts, clients, customers, and money streams towards you because you have been prepared to handle them with wisdom and integrity. When this door activates, you begin to notice shifts in flow. Deals that were going elsewhere begin coming to you. Clients who never considered you now seek you out. Opportunities that seem distant now feel natural. This is not greed, and it is not entitlement. It is alignment. Wealth is drawn to clarity. Resources bow to structure. God entrusts increase to people who can manage it with humility. Your discipline makes you trustworthy. Your integrity makes you reliable. This door represents divine reallocation, where what was wasted in chaos begins to flow toward order. You don't have to beg for it, force it, or chase it. It comes because you are ready. You become a steward of movement, not just a receiver. Systems begin to recognize your value. You build trust quickly because people can feel your stability. God uses you as a channel for wealth to be preserved, multiplied, and directed properly. This door marks a transition from struggling to stabilize to being selected to manage overflow. You are no longer just building for yourself, but preparing to control larger streams of financial responsibility. 8. The door of multiple income streams. You stop relying on one source of income. God teaches you how to build systems that generate money while you sleep. Businesses, investments, royalties, and digital assets begin to align with your purpose. When this door opens, your thinking expands beyond wages and into ownership. You no longer trade time for money alone. You begin creating structures, platforms, and systems that continue working when you are resting. Your focus shifts from "how do I earn more" to "how do I build once and benefit repeatedly?" God gives you ideas for scalability, automation, and leverage. You learn to diversify without confusion. You build with patience instead of rushing. You understand that true wealth is built in layers, not in bursts. You start small, but you think big. Streams begin to connect. One effort produces multiple results. Your time is no longer the only source of your income. You feel peace because you are no longer dependent on one source that could disappear. Financial stability becomes stronger because your foundation becomes wider. God trains you to manage complexity with simplicity. You become disciplined enough to maintain what you build. This door moves you from survival income to sustainable abundance, where your financial life has structure, balance, and long-term vision. 9. The door of overflow with purpose. This is not money you chase. This is money that chases your assignment. You reach a level where you are no longer trying to survive. You are positioned to fund visions, support others, and live in divine abundance without fear. When this door opens, your relationship with money changes completely. You no longer see it as a goal, but as a tool. You are no longer desperate for it, but responsible for it. Your fear disappears because scarcity no longer controls your thinking. You begin to see wealth as a form of stewardship rather than ownership. God begins to trust you with more because your heart is aligned with purpose, not pride. Your focus shifts from only personal success to generational impact. You start funding ideas, helping others rise, and creating opportunities for people who have no voice. You move with peace, not pressure. Your sleep becomes sweeter because your provision is stable. You no longer worry about lack because overflow has become your normal. This door brings fulfillment that money alone cannot give, the fulfillment of knowing that your abundance is aligned with heaven's agenda. You become a distributor, a builder, and a supporter of divine vision on earth. This is the Zillion Mind Channel. If this message spoke directly to your spirit, don't ignore the moment. Subscribe to this channel right now so you don't miss the next level of divine revelation. And if you received this message at the exact time you needed it, type 11 to 11 in the comment section as a prophetic act for divine blessings, open doors, and unstoppable favor. Your season of wealth has officially begun. Thank you for watching. Every chosen one reaches a season where heaven feels distant. You pray, but the answers feel delayed. You seek direction, but confusion seems louder. You try to walk in alignment, yet obstacles appear out of nowhere. Many begin to ask, why is God not speaking to me the way He used to? Why does it feel like my prayers are hitting a wall? What most don't realize is that there are subtle but powerful barriers, internal and external, blocking clarity, guidance, and divine communication. These barriers often hide in familiar routines and emotional patterns, silently disconnecting you from God's voice. Before we go deeper into these 9 spiritual barriers, I encourage you, if this message reaches you in a moment you needed it, to subscribe so you don't miss the wisdom meant for your growth. And if this resonates with your spirit, type 1111 in the comments as a sign of alignment, openness, and divine blessing flowing into your life. 1. Internal noise. God often speaks in stillness, but many chosen ones are surrounded by internal storms so loud that divine whispers cannot be heard. Overthinking becomes a constant echo chamber, repeating fears, replaying painful memories, analyzing every small detail, and drowning out the gentle instructions God sends. Worry pulls your attention into possible outcomes that never happen, creating imagined battles that exhaust your spirit before the real day even arrives. The mind becomes so saturated with what-ifs, and maybe this and maybe that the voice of God, which moves softly, is pushed into the background. God does not shout over chaos. He has no reason to compete with noise created by fear, anxiety, or doubt. Stillness is His language, and clarity flows only into a quiet heart. But when your internal world is loud, your spiritual receptors weaken. Even when God is speaking, you cannot tell if it is Him or your anxiety pretending to sound divine. The enemy knows this. He knows a quiet soul is dangerous because a quiet soul becomes aligned, sharp, and aware of heaven's codes and directions. So he amplifies the noise through mental clutter, emotional flashbacks, intrusive thoughts, and unnecessary worries, hoping to drown out God's messages. Many chosen ones are not disconnected from God. They are simply overwhelmed internally. They pray but cannot feel peace. Not because God is absent, but because their spiritual antenna is buried under layers of mental static. The noise becomes a barrier to discernment. When your mind is racing, revelation becomes distorted. When you cannot slow down, you cannot tune in. God's voice has not stopped. Your inner storm is too loud. Only when the chosen one learns to silence the mind, through prayer, fasting, rest, stillness, or intentional focus, does divine clarity return. Quietness is not weakness. It is the atmosphere where God's voice becomes unmistakably clear. 2. Unhealed emotions. Unhealed emotions act like filters over your spiritual ears, coloring how you perceive God, people, and even your own destiny. When pain from betrayal is still sitting in your spirit, you may interpret God's warnings as fear-based paranoia, or you may assume every closed door is another rejection instead of protection. Rejection can distort your relationship with God to the point where you feel unworthy of blessings He has already prepared for you. Trauma can make you resist what God sends because you have learned, consciously or unconsciously, to associate good things with eventual loss. Emotional wounds can shape your spiritual perception more powerfully than any external influence. Many chosen ones are not lacking divine instruction. They are simply hearing through layers of hurt that bend the message. It's like trying to read a message through cracked glass. The words are there, but the distortion changes what you think you see. When your heart is bruised, you start expecting disappointment. So even when God says go, you may hear danger, and when He says wait, you may hear abandonment. Pain becomes the interpreter, and pain is a terrible translator. It will always twist spiritual truth. Unhealed emotions also create defensive barriers around your intuition, making you hesitant to trust your own discernment. You become hypervigilant, questioning everything. Is this really God? Or is it just my imagination? But the deeper issue is that your emotional wounds are louder than your spiritual sensitivity. God's voice is gentle, steady, loving, but trauma echoes in sharp, fearful tones. Until the chosen one confronts and heals the hurt, God's guidance will continue to feel unclear, inconsistent, or confusing. Healing restores spiritual accuracy. When the heart is whole, divine messages become direct again. The problem was never silence. It was distortion. 3. Wrong attachments. It becomes nearly impossible to hear God clearly when you are tied to people who are not part of your destiny. Some relationships drain your spirit, pulling your energy into cycles of conflict, gossip, drama, or emotional obligation. Some friendships distract you from your assignment because they anchor you to environments your spirit has already outgrown. Certain environments suffocate your spiritual senses, numbing your intuition and weakening your discernment. When you remain connected to those who are misaligned with your calling, your spiritual frequency becomes disrupted. God may be sending guidance, but the noise of these attachments overwhelms your sensitivity. Many chosen ones miss divine direction because they stay loyal to connections God has already released them from. Loyalty to the wrong people can delay destiny more than any spiritual attack. When you hold on to individuals who operate from jealousy, selfishness, confusion, or negativity, their energy becomes a fog around your spirit. It becomes harder to know if the caution you feel is God nudging you or the anxiety coming from their influence. Some people are not evil, they are simply not aligned. And misalignment can be just as spiritually destructive as outright harm. When your circle is full of those who do not share your values, your purpose, or your growth, the voice of God becomes faint. God often speaks through peace, but peace cannot survive where the wrong people live. Many chosen ones do not realize that their discernment becomes sharper the moment they disconnect from certain individuals. Once the wrong attachments are removed, the static clears, and suddenly God's guidance becomes crisp, strong, and unmistakable. The silence you thought was heaven withholding was actually heaven waiting for you to detach. God will not compete with voices that drown out His own. Once the chosen one lets go, the clarity flows. 4. Disobedience to previous instructions. God does not release new guidance when old instructions remain unfulfilled. Many chosen ones cry out, "God is silent," but the silence is not punishment. It is a pause, a necessary, intentional pause waiting for obedience. Heaven operates through order, and spiritual assignments build step by step. When you delay obedience, you delay destiny. When you ignore a previous instruction, whether it was to leave a relationship, start a mission, move to a different environment, forgive someone, or fix a habit, you unintentionally block the next phase of direction. God does not waste revelation. He will not give you step 5 when step 3 is still untouched. Many chosen ones confuse God's stillness with abandonment, but it is really alignment. God is waiting for your action before giving you more. It's like a teacher who cannot hand you the next chapter until you complete the current one. Not because the teacher is withholding, but because progression requires foundation. When a chosen one keeps asking God, "What should I do next?" Heaven responds, "Do what I already told you." Each instruction is connected. Each step unlocks the next. Sometimes God's silence is a divine reminder. You already know what to do, complete it. But spiritual procrastination, fear, or confusion can make you stagnate. You may be praying for clarity while heaven is waiting for movement. You may be pleading for direction while God is waiting for obedience. Once you finally follow the previous instruction, the fog lifts. The next step becomes obvious, natural, and almost effortless. There is no greater clarity than obedience. When you honor what God already said, divine momentum returns. The silence breaks. The path becomes illuminated once again. Not because God finally answered, but because obedience opened the channel that was blocked. 5. Secret habits and hidden cycles. This is not judgment. It is spiritual reality. Repeated habits that weaken your spirit, even if hidden from others, can cloud your ability to hear God clearly. Secret struggles, whether emotional, mental, or behavioral, carry weight, and spiritual weight affects spiritual sensitivity. When guilt grows, prayer becomes harder. When shame increases, confidence in approaching God decreases. These cycles create an internal heaviness that makes divine whispers feel distant. The issue is not that God stopped speaking. It's that your spirit is too weighed down to receive. Hidden cycles often come with emotional baggage, regret, frustration, self-condemnation, and these emotions form barriers around your intuition. When you feel unworthy, you stop expecting to hear God. When you feel stuck, you stop believing clarity will come. The enemy uses these cycles to isolate you, telling you that you cannot seek God while struggling, when in reality, God is the place you must run to. But the shame attached to secret habits convinces you to hide, and hiding distances you from divine instruction. These hidden patterns also drain your energy, leaving you spiritually exhausted even before the day begins. When your internal world is heavy, it becomes difficult to distinguish God's voice from your own feelings of inadequacy. You may confuse conviction with condemnation, or you may mistake God's guidance for your own anxiety. But once you confront these cycles, not with fear, but with honesty and surrender, your spiritual clarity begins to rebuild. God is not looking for perfection. He is looking for willingness. The moment you release the weight of secret struggles, your spiritual hearing sharpens again. The heaviness lifts, the path becomes clearer. The voice you thought had disappeared was always there. Your spirit was simply too burdened to listen. Freedom restores discernment, and once the weight is removed, revelation flows freely. 6. Impatience. Many chosen ones desire answers instantly. Direction now, confirmation now, breakthrough now. Impatience becomes a spiritual pressure that pushes them into decisions God never authorized and timelines heaven never planned. When the heart is restless, the spirit becomes loud in all the wrong ways. You begin to interpret impatience as urgency, anxiety as insight, and pressure as divine instruction. But God often speaks slowly, deliberately, and intentionally. His voice is not rushed, and his timing is never desperate. Impatience is dangerous because it creates spiritual illusions. It makes you believe that if you don't act now, you'll miss your opportunity, when in truth, anything God intends for you cannot be taken from you. Impatience makes you step ahead of divine timing and settle for counterfeit blessings, opportunities that look right, feel right, and sound right, but are completely out of alignment with destiny. When you hurry, you begin accepting signs that are not from God simply because they appear convenient. You ignore red flags. You distort discernment. You force outcomes that were never meant to be forced. And when the pace of your life becomes too loud, the voice of God becomes quiet. Not because he stopped speaking, but because your speed makes subtle guidance impossible to hear. God's voice thrives in patience. Patience opens your spiritual senses, sharpens your intuition, and grounds your decisions in wisdom rather than emotion. Impatience removes you from that spiritual center. The enemy loves impatient chosen ones because they can be misled by urgency. He knows that if he can't block your blessing, he can rush you into the wrong thing before the right thing arrives. Many chosen ones have lost years, opportunities, and peace simply because they could not wait long enough to see God's full picture. But when you learn to slow down, truly slow down, and trust the divine pace, everything shifts. Clarity returns. Discernment deepens. You stop chasing answers and begin receiving them. God speaks most clearly to the heart that is willing to wait. 7. Fear. Fear blocks divine clarity more than almost anything else. Fear shrinks your faith and magnifies your imagination in the worst possible ways. It takes small uncertainties and inflates them into overwhelming threats. Fear makes you hear danger when God is actually saying move forward. It makes you freeze when God is telling you to step out. Fear creates illusions that look real, sound real, and feel real. But they are nothing more than shadows, designed to distract you from your destiny. When fear becomes the loudest voice in your life, it becomes nearly impossible to distinguish God's direction. Fear clouds your discernment to the point where every instruction feels risky, every opportunity feels dangerous, and every new step feels like a trap. You begin to confuse your anxiety with intuition and your caution with divine warning. Fear also disrupts your spiritual sensitivity. God often speaks in confidence, assurance, and peace, but fear speaks in panic, confusion, and worst-case scenarios. When you are afraid, your spirit becomes closed. You interpret everything through a lens of insecurity. What if it fails? What if I'm wrong? What if I'm not good enough? These internal questions drown out the calm, steady guidance God offers. Fear disconnects you from divine purpose because it convinces you that you are safer staying where you are instead of going where God is leading. The enemy uses fear to keep chosen ones small, silent, and stagnant, not because they lack calling, but because they lack courage. Fear does not mean God is silent. It means your inner world is too overwhelmed to recognize his voice. But the moment you confront fear, not by pretending it doesn't exist, but by refusing to obey it, your spiritual clarity begins to return. Faith restores your hearing, peace becomes possible again, and the voice of God, once muted by fear, becomes unmistakable, strong, and reassuring. Fear may challenge you, but it cannot stop you unless you surrender to it. When faith rises, fear loses its power, and divine direction becomes clear once more. 8. The need for control. A chosen one who tries to control every outcome unknowingly builds a spiritual wall that blocks divine flow. Control often comes from fear. Fear that God won't come through. Fear that things won't work out. Fear of losing what you care about, or fear of repeating past pain. So you begin strategizing every detail of your life, planning every possibility, and trying to anticipate every scenario. But control is a heavy burden, and it disrupts your sensitivity to God's direction. God's voice becomes clearer when you surrender, not when you tighten your grip. When you try to orchestrate everything yourself, you close your heart to unexpected blessings and divine surprises. You become so focused on protecting yourself that you leave no room for God to do what only He can do. Control narrows your vision. You can only see what you can manage. But God's plan is always bigger than what your hands can handle. When you cling too tightly to plans, timelines, relationships, expectations, God waits. Not because He is withholding, but because He refuses to compete with your fear disguised as control. Many chosen ones mistake overthinking for responsibility, but in reality, it is often a lack of trust. Divine guidance flows where surrender exists. When you stop forcing outcomes, you begin to feel God leading you with ease. The anxiety fades, the confusion settles, the path unfolds step by step. The need for control makes you deaf to God's whisper because you are too busy directing your own steps. But once you release your grip, once you finally let go of the illusion that you must manage everything alone, your spiritual clarity strengthens. You begin hearing God not through worry, but through peace. You stop reacting from fear and start moving from faith. Control is exhausting, surrender is transformative, and a surrendered chosen one hears God with profound clarity. 9. Spiritual exhaustion. Even the strongest chosen one becomes disconnected when spiritually drained. Spiritual exhaustion dulls your discernment, weakens your intuition, and makes even simple decisions feel overwhelming. When you are tired, emotionally, mentally, or spiritually, the voice of God becomes distant, not because He is silent, but because you lack the strength to listen deeply. Fatigue clouds your perception. You begin mistaking spiritual attacks for ordinary stress, and ordinary stress for spiritual warfare. Your ability to sense God's peace fades. Your inner world becomes cluttered with worries and responsibilities you have been carrying for too long. Spiritual exhaustion often comes from constant giving energy, giving support, giving encouragement, while receiving little replenishment in return. It also comes from fighting battles without resting, carrying burdens without relief, and trying to stay strong without pause. When your spirit is worn down, everything feels heavier. Prayer feels harder, meditation feels distant, worship feels mechanical. You lose the emotional capacity to tune into the gentle, subtle voice of God. But exhaustion is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign that you have been operating beyond your capacity for too long. God never designed the chosen one to live in continuous warfare without rest. Rest is spiritual. Stillness is healing. Renewal is necessary. When you allow yourself to rest, truly rest, your spiritual senses begin to reawaken. Suddenly the fog lifts, the confusion lightens, the heaviness fades. Clarity returns not because God changed, but because you renewed. Rest restores revelation. A refreshed spirit hears God with precision, peace, and depth. Many chosen ones think something is wrong with their faith when they can't hear God, but often nothing is wrong. They are simply tired. When exhaustion lifts, the divine voice you thought disappeared becomes clear once again. If any of these 9 barriers resonated with you, understand this clearly: God has not abandoned you. His voice has not disappeared. His guidance has not stopped. You are simply navigating the same obstacles every chosen one must face before stepping into their next level of spiritual elevation. Quiet your mind. Heal your heart. Release wrong connections. Act on what God already said. Break old cycles. Be patient. Release fear. Surrender control. Restore your spirit. When you do, the voice of God will return louder, clearer, and more undeniable than ever before. is the Zillion Mind Channel. If this message was exactly what your soul needed, remember to type 1111 for divine alignment. Thank you for watching.
My beloved child, stop right now. Listen closely. What I am about to tell you is not coincidence. You did not stumble upon this message by accident. I called you here. I called you by name. I see you. I see the weight you carry. I see the tears you cry in the darkness. I see the prayers you whisper when you think no one hears. Your answer has arrived. This is your moment. I need you to hear every word I speak to your heart right now. I know you are tired, my beloved child. I know. The exhaustion goes deeper than your body. It goes deeper than your bones. It has settled into your soul. You wake up already weary. You go to bed carrying tomorrow's worries along with today's burdens. Your mind races through the night. Your heart pounds with anxiety. You feel like you are drowning. Every time you try to catch your breath, another wave crashes over you. I see it all. Every sleepless hour, every silent tear, every moment you wondered if you could take one more step. But hear me when I say this. You are not alone in this fight. I am with you. I have always been with you. The strength you think you have lost, I am about to restore. Let me tell you about a woman who lived 2,000 years ago. You need to hear her story. It is your story. This woman had been bleeding for 12 years. 12 long years. Think about that for a moment. For 12 years, her body betrayed her every single day. She woke up bleeding. She went to bed bleeding. Month after month. Year after year. No relief. No rest. No healing. She spent everything she had on doctors. Physician after physician. Remedy after remedy. Prescription after prescription. Nothing worked. Nothing helped. In fact, she only got worse. The treatments made her weaker. The medicines drained her savings. The appointments brought only disappointment. But that was not even the worst part, my child. According to the law, her condition made her unclean, untouchable. She could not go to the temple to worship. She could not embrace her family. She could not hold a child. She could not feel the comfort of another human being. For 12 years, she lived in isolation. She lived in shame. She lived in pain that no one could see. Pain that no one could understand. Can you picture her? Sitting alone in her small house, watching through the window as families walked to the synagogue, watching as children played in the streets, watching as life went on without her. She was invisible. She was forgotten, or so it seemed. She had prayed. Oh, how she had prayed. Year after year, she cried out to me, day after day, night after night, and year after year, nothing changed. Can you imagine what that felt like? To pray and pray and pray and still wake up bleeding, still wake up alone, still wake up rejected. The whispers followed her everywhere. People crossed the street when they saw her coming. Mothers pulled their children away. Religious leaders shook their heads in judgment. They said she was cursed. They said she must have done something terrible to deserve such suffering. They said if I loved her, I would have healed her by now. And in her darkest moments, she wondered if they were right. Maybe she was forgotten. Maybe she was too broken. Maybe her prayers did not reach heaven. Maybe, just maybe, she was beyond help. She tried to have faith. She really did. But faith is hard when you are bleeding. Faith is hard when you are isolated. Faith is hard when every door has closed. Faith is hard when your body is failing. Faith is hard when people judge you. Faith is hard when the years keep passing and nothing changes. She would lie awake at night asking the same questions you ask. Why me? How long? Have you forgotten me? Do you even see me? Will this ever end? Does anyone care? Is there any hope left? Every morning brought the same disappointment. Every night brought the same despair. The hope she once had was flickering like a dying flame. Almost extinguished. Almost gone. Year 1, she had been hopeful. Year 5, she had been desperate. Year 10, she had been resigned. By year 12, she was barely holding on. Her money was gone. Her strength was gone. Her hope was nearly gone. But something inside her refused to completely die. Some small spark, some tiny flame, some whisper that said, maybe, just maybe, there is still a chance. Then one day, she heard that I was passing through her town. Jesus of Nazareth, the healer, the one who made blind eyes see, the one who made deaf ears hear, the one who made lame legs walk. She heard the stories. She heard about the leper who was cleansed. She heard about the paralyzed man who walked. She heard about the demon-possessed who were freed. And hope, that tiny spark, began to grow, small and fragile, like a candle in a storm. But it was there. It was alive. But then reality crashed in. How could she get to me? She was unclean. If anyone knew she was in the crowd, they would stone her. If she touched anyone, she would defile them. According to the law, she should not even leave her house. Going into a crowd could get her killed. The punishment for an unclean person entering a public space was severe. She knew the risks. She knew the dangers. But what did she have to lose? 12 years of this living death. Maybe actual death would be better. Or maybe, just maybe, she would find healing. So she made a decision. A desperate, faith-filled decision. She said to herself, if I can just touch the edge of his garment, I will be healed. Not even touch him. Just his clothes. Just the hem of his robe. That is all she needed. That is all she dared to hope for. Think about that faith. After 12 years of disappointment, after 12 years of failed remedies, after 12 years of unanswered prayers, she still believed that one touch could change everything. So she wrapped herself in a cloak. She pulled it low over her face. She covered herself completely. And she pushed into that massive crowd. People were everywhere, pressing, shoving, trying to get close to me. The noise was deafening. The crush of bodies was overwhelming. She could barely breathe. She was terrified. Someone might recognize her. Someone might expose her. Someone might drag her away and stone her. Every step was dangerous. Every moment was risky. But she kept going, step by step, push by push. She ignored the pain in her body. She ignored the fear in her heart. She ignored the voices in her head telling her she was not worthy. She pushed through. She fought through. She pressed forward. And then finally, she saw me. I was walking past. The crowd was thick. Bodies pressed on every side. But she reached out. Her hand was trembling. Her fingers stretched forward. And for just one moment, she touched the hem of my robe. Just a touch. The lightest touch. Her fingertips barely grazed the fabric, and in that instant, everything changed. The bleeding stopped. After 12 years of suffering, in 1 second her body was healed. She felt it. She knew it. The pain was gone. The weakness was gone. The bleeding had stopped. 12 years of torment ended in 1 second. She thought she could slip away unnoticed. She thought she could disappear into the crowd. She thought she could carry this secret miracle home with her. Hide it. Treasure it. Keep it safe. But I stopped walking. I turned around, and I asked, who touched me? My disciples thought I was joking. The crowd was pressing in from every side. Everyone was touching me. Dozens of people, hundreds of people. But I knew someone had touched me in faith. Someone had drawn healing power from me. This was not an accidental brush. This was a faith connection. This was different. And this woman, terrified now, fell at my feet. She was shaking. Her whole body trembled. The secret was out. Everyone would know. Everyone would judge. Everyone would condemn. But she told me everything. The 12 years. The doctors. The money. The shame. The desperation. The fear. The faith. Every detail. Every painful memory. Every humiliating moment. And when she finished, I looked at her. Really looked at her. Not with judgment. Not with disgust. Not with condemnation. but with love in my eyes, with compassion in my voice, with tenderness in my heart. And I called her daughter. Daughter. Do you hear that word? Do you understand what it means? For 12 years, she had been called unclean, cursed, broken, untouchable, rejected, defiled, outcast. But I called her daughter. I called her mine. I called her beloved. I called her family. In front of everyone, publicly, boldly. I claimed her as my own. And then I said, your faith has healed you. Your faith. Not my random decision to heal someone that day. Not luck. Not chance. Not accident. Your faith. The faith that made you push through the crowd. The faith that made you reach out. The faith that refused to give up. The faith that believed one touch could change everything. Your faith has made you whole. Go in peace. Your suffering is over. Can you imagine the weight that lifted from her shoulders in that moment? 12 years of suffering, over. 12 years of shame, gone. 12 years of isolation, finished. 12 years of rejection, erased. She walked into that crowd as an outcast. She walked away as a daughter. She came in shame. She left in honor. She arrived broken. She departed whole. My beloved child, do you see it? Do you see yourself in her story? You have been suffering too. Maybe not for 12 years. Maybe it has been longer. Maybe it has been shorter. But it has been long enough. Long enough to feel forgotten. Long enough to wonder if your prayers are reaching me. Long enough to spend everything you have emotionally, physically, financially, trying to fix what only I can fix. You have gone to every resource, every solution, every person who promised they could help. You have tried everything you know to try. And still, the problem remains. Still, the pain lingers. Still, the breakthrough has not come. You have prayed for your health to improve. Nothing changed. You have prayed for your finances to turn around. Still struggling. You have prayed for your family to be restored. Still broken. You have prayed for your peace to return. Still anxious. You have prayed for your strength to renew. Still exhausted. And the enemy whispers the same lies he whispered to her. You are forgotten. You are cursed. If God loved you, he would have answered by now. You are too broken to be healed. You have waited too long. You have suffered too much. It is too late for you. But I am here to tell you something. Those are lies. Lies from the pit of hell. You are not forgotten. You are not cursed. You are not too broken. You are not too late. You are my beloved child. I see you. I have always seen you. Every tear, every prayer, every moment of pain. I see it all. And I am not distant. I am not uncaring. I am not ignoring you. I am setting up your miracle. That woman thought she was reaching for me. But the truth is, I was reaching for her. I was not passing through that town by accident. I orchestrated every detail of that day. The crowd, the timing, the exact moment she pushed through, the position where she could reach me. It was all arranged by me. She thought she was taking a desperate chance, but I was setting up her miracle. Every step she took toward me, I was drawing her. Every moment of her suffering, I was preparing her deliverance. The delay was not denial. It was divine setup. The waiting was not abandonment. It was purposeful preparation. And that is exactly what I am doing in your life right now. You think you are just trying to survive, just trying to hold on, just trying to make it through one more day. But I am setting up your breakthrough. The delays you have experienced are not denials. They are setups. I have been arranging circumstances, moving people, shifting situations, orchestrating details, all so that at the perfect moment, everything will align, and you will encounter my power in a way you never have before. What looked like a detour was actually the path. What felt like abandonment was actually preparation. What seemed like silence was actually the sound of me working behind the scenes on your behalf, Let me tell you what you are not, my beloved child. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are not invisible. You are not a disappointment. You are not too damaged. You are not beyond help. You are not cursed. You are not rejected. You are not alone. You are not abandoned. You are not worthless. You are not hopeless. Now let me tell you what you are. You are seen. You are known. You are loved. You are chosen. You are cherished. You are my masterpiece. You are my beloved. You are mine. You are being healed. You are being restored. You are being delivered. You are being renewed. The exhaustion you feel, I am about to lift it. The burden you carry, I am about to take it. The pain you have endured, I am about to turn it into purpose. The tears you have cried, I am about to turn them into joy. The shame that has covered you, I am about to replace it with my glory. The lies you have believed, I am about to shatter them with my truth. The isolation you have felt, I am about to replace it with community. The rejection you have known, I am about to replace it with acceptance. The weakness you experience, I am about to replace it with my strength. You have been praying for healing. I am about to give you wholeness. You have been praying for provision. I am about to give you abundance. You have been praying for relief. I am about to give you rest. You see what you need. I see what you need and what you are becoming. You see the problem. I see the solution. You see the delay. I see the divine timing. You see the mountain. I see the miracle. You see the impossibility. I see the opportunity. You see the end. I see the beginning. You see failure. I see preparation for success. The symptoms you have been dealing with, they do not intimidate me. The diagnosis you received, it does not limit me. The medical reports that brought fear, they do not define your future. I am the God who created your body, every cell, every organ, every system, every nerve, every bone, every muscle. I designed it all. And what I created, I can restore. I am not impressed by what doctors say is impossible. I specialize in impossible. I am the one who made blind eyes see without surgery. I made deaf ears hear without medicine. I made paralyzed legs walk without therapy. I made dead bodies rise without explanation. I made lepers clean without treatment. I made the lame run without rehabilitation. So do not let anyone tell you that your situation is beyond hope. With me, nothing is beyond hope. Nothing is too hard. Nothing is impossible. Your finances trouble you, do they not? The bills pile up. The bank account runs low. The unexpected expenses keep coming. The car breaks down. The appliance stops working. The medical bills arrive. You lie awake at night doing math in your head, trying to figure out how to make it work, trying to stretch what little you have. The stress is overwhelming. The worry is constant. The pressure is unbearable. But listen to me, my child. I am the God who multiplied 5 loaves and 2 fish to feed 5,000 people, with 12 baskets left over. I am the God who made a widow's oil pour until every jar was full. I am the God who made a coin appear in a fish's mouth. I am the God who owns the cattle on 1,000 hills. Every good thing comes from me. Every provision flows from my hand. Every blessing originates with me. And if I take care of the birds who do not sow or reap, how much more will I take care of you? You are worth more than many sparrows. You are my beloved child. Stop trying to figure it out on your own. Stop carrying the weight of provision. That is my job. Your job is to trust me. Your job is to obey me. Your job is to seek my kingdom first. And I promise you, everything else will be added unto you. The provision you need is already on its way. The breakthrough in your finances is already in motion. The door of opportunity is about to open. Trust me. The loneliness you feel, it cuts deep, does it not? You can be surrounded by people and still feel utterly alone. No one seems to understand what you are going through. No one seems to see the pain behind your smile. You feel invisible, even in a crowded room, even at family gatherings, even at church. You feel like no one really knows you. No one really sees you. You sit in church surrounded by people and feel completely alone. You attend family dinners and feel like an outsider. You answer the phone and still feel isolated. But my beloved child, I see you. I see you when you are in the crowd. I see you when you are in your room alone. I see you when you are smiling. I see you when you are crying. I see you when you are strong. I see you when you are weak. I see every version of you, and I love every version of you. I am not a distant God watching from afar. I am Emmanuel, God with you. I am closer to you than your own breath. I am in you. I am with you. I am for you. I am surrounding you. You are never, ever alone. When you wake up, I am there. When you lie down, I am there. When you eat, I am there. When you work, I am there. When you cry, I am there. When you pray, I am there. When you drive, I am there. When you sit in silence, I am there. There is no place you can go where I am not. There is no moment when I am not with you. You may feel alone, but you are not alone. That is a lie. The truth is, I am always with you. The fear that grips your heart about the future, release it to me. You do not know what tomorrow holds, but I do. I have already been to your future. I am already there, preparing the way, making straight paths, opening doors, removing obstacles, arranging blessings. The uncertainty that torments you does not torment me. I know every detail of what is coming. I know every challenge you will face. I know every blessing you will receive. I know every person you will meet. I know every opportunity that will come. And I promise you this, I will never leave you. I will never forsake you. Where you go, I go. What you face, we face together. Every battle, every trial, every storm, I will be right there with you, holding your hand, guiding your steps, fighting your battles, clearing your path, and we will make it through, not because you are strong enough, but because I am. Your family concerns weigh heavy on your heart, do they not? The grown children who have walked away from the faith, you raised them in church, you taught them to pray, you read them Bible stories, and now they do not call, they do not visit, they have chosen a different path. The grandchildren you worry about, growing up without knowing me, without going to church, without hearing about my love, it breaks your heart. The spouse whose health is failing, getting weaker, getting sicker, and you feel helpless. The relationships that are strained, the words that were said, the hurts that linger, the distance that grows. I see it all. I know every name. I know every situation. I know every need. I know every heartbreak, and I am working in ways you cannot see. Your prayers for them are not falling on deaf ears. Every prayer reaches my throne. Every tear is collected in my bottle. Every intercession is powerful and effective. Do not stop praying. Do not stop believing. Do not stop hoping. The breakthrough you are praying for is coming. The restoration you long for is on its way. The healing you desire is being prepared. Trust my timing. Trust my methods. Trust my love for them. I love them even more than you do. They are my children too, and I have not given up on them. I am pursuing them. I am drawing them. I am working in their hearts. You will see my faithfulness. Now, my beloved child, I need something from you. I need you to participate in this moment with me. I need you to stop being a passive observer of your own life. I need you to become an active participant in your miracle. There is power in declaration. There is power in confession. There is power when you speak your faith out loud. The enemy wants you silent. He wants you defeated. He wants you hiding in shame. He wants you paralyzed by fear. But I am calling you to speak. I am calling you to declare. I am calling you to proclaim. I am calling you to align your mouth with my promises. This is not about ritual. This is not about superstition. This is about agreement. When you speak my word out loud, you are agreeing with heaven. You are taking a stand. You are saying, I believe God more than I believe my circumstances. You are saying, I trust God's word more than I trust what I see. You are saying, I choose faith over fear. You are saying, I am reaching out to touch the hem of his garment. So right now, before you go any further, I am asking you to do something. Something simple but powerful. Something that will activate your faith. Something that will connect you to my power. I want you to type these exact words in the comments. Jesus, I trust your timing. My breakthrough is here. Do it now. Do not think about it. Do not hesitate. Do not let embarrassment stop you. Do not let fear stop you. Do not let pride stop you. Type it out. Jesus, I trust your timing. My breakthrough is here. This is your act of faith. This is your declaration. This is you pushing through the crowd to touch me. This is you saying, I believe. Go ahead. I will wait. Do it right now. Type it out. Let your faith be known. Now let us pray together. This is not my prayer for you. This is your prayer with me. Speak these words from your heart. Say them out loud if you can. Let them rise from your spirit. Lord Jesus, I thank you that you see me. I thank you that I am not forgotten. I am not overlooked. I am not invisible. I thank you that even in my darkest moments, you have been with me, working on my behalf, arranging my breakthrough, preparing my miracle. I confess that I have doubted you. I have questioned your timing. I have believed the lies of the enemy, lies that said I was abandoned, lies that said my situation was hopeless, lies that said I was too broken to be fixed, lies that said it was too late. Forgive me for doubting your love. Forgive me for doubting your power. Forgive me for doubting your faithfulness. Help me to trust you even when I cannot see what you are doing. Help me to believe your promises even when my circumstances contradict them. Fill me with faith that moves mountains. Fill me with hope that does not disappoint. Fill me with peace that passes understanding. Fill me with strength for this journey. Remove every fear from my heart. Remove every doubt from my mind. Remove every lie that has taken root in my thinking. Remove every obstacle in my path. I choose to believe that you are working all things together for my good. I choose to trust that your timing is perfect. I choose to declare that my breakthrough is not delayed. It is right on schedule. I declare that healing is mine. I declare that provision is mine. I declare that peace is mine. I declare that victory is mine. I declare that wholeness is mine. I declare that restoration is mine. In your holy name I pray. Amen. For more biblical encouragement, subscribe now. God bless you, my beloved child, and remember, your breakthrough is here.